So talking about kind of the resolve and the accident that you mentioned, so I just wanted to touch upon that quickly, because yeah, I know that it happened when you were racing in Bahrain last year, and that split second, how did that kind of go on to change you as a person when everything changed for a while, not just physically, but also as a world quite quickly after that, we just completely put the brakes on hold, at that time. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the timing was a friend of mine. I saw her when I came back, and she said, "Dania, good timing," because at the time everything stopped, not just everything stopped.
Yeah.
And I remember the accident. I had just come back from racing school, and I was confident and I was pushing myself. And I remember feeling a bit discombobulated that day. I felt like my energy was a bit kind of all over the place. I was going faster, but I didn't feel centered. I was dragging my knee on the track on the turns much more than usual. So I was obviously throwing the bike down to the side more than I used to do. I'm not sure why I was doing that. Maybe I was trying so hard to be faster that I was paying less attention to how much I leaned left and right. I'm sure a lot of things contributed to my fall, but what did it was I took a tight left turn, on the back straight of the Oasis, and I leaned too far and I fell on the low side. And then I remember the moment of the fall, I knew that I was no longer riding the bike. I knew that I was not controlling it. And I consciously told myself, which is what the teachers had told me, let go, go with the fall, go with the fall, go with the fall. I just kept repeating that, go with the fall, because when you just you don't resist, that's when you just could have the least possible damage. And I remember saying that to myself over and over. And then I don't remember what happened. I remember I opened my eyes and I was face down and I wasn't moving. And then I closed my eyes and then I opened them again and I was in the ambulance. So my headgear was off, my suit and everything, and I was in my those gym clothes. So there was a couple of blackouts, but I do remember significant moments of it. And then in the ambulance, I started asking questions. What's going on? What happened? And I was high from the rush of the adrenaline or whatever it was. I was hyper. I was hyper, and I told the medics, "Oh, my toes can move. That's good." And I told them, what are your names? Asking them questions, just having conversations, making sure my brain was active. We got to a hospital, and then I remember blacking out a bit. I opened my eyes again because they were pushing me back into the ambulance. Where are we going? Where are we going? They said, we're going to a public hospital because you have to pay here. And I said, nobody asked me. I mean, if they asked me, I probably would have been like, let's just go. But I'm glad actually, because in the end, I mean, obviously it was better for me, right? They took me to the public hospital, which is a really good hospital. So that was we went to the hospital, and then at this point they didn't know we were broken, but they tried to give me a wheelchair, and when I stood up I collapsed and I fainted. I woke up on the floor and I asked them what happened. They said, I fainted. So I think that was from the pain. So I had four broken bones at that stage, but we still didn't know. Three broken bones. The spine was fractured. The three broken bones were in the pelvis. So at that point, we didn't know. They put me back in the bed. They wanted to go to the wheelchair so they could do the scans, but I couldn't. So we took the bed to the X-ray room. I mean, even talking about it now, it's. I was optimistic because I decided not to jump the gun. I said, "Don't think about anything that's coming. Just stay calm, stay quiet, and listen. Don't assume. Don't make any statements. Because fear wants, when it doesn't know what's going on, wants to give itself facts for you to feel safe, even if the fact is, oh, you can't walk. It doesn't matter. It's just when you're in control and you know what's happening, you feel safer. But I kept pushing any of my thoughts that wanted to control the situation away because we didn't know. Everything was a question mark. Even now with Corona, people like to analyze and say statements to feel like they're in control, but it's still unknown. Most of it is question marks. And I understand that coping mechanism. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, or I'm just saying it does happen. It happens. But in that situation, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep myself neutral. I listened to Quran a lot in the hospital until I knew what was going on. That really calmed me down. And also, it distracted me from trying to make up a reality to feel secure. And then when they told me that you're completely fine, you just have broken bones that are going to heal, I was so grateful. So grateful. I was so happy because at the time, a close family member was ill, and it was very serious. So I felt like the doctor told me I had a cold, and all I needed to do was drink water and for a few days, and I'll be fine. And when she called me to tell me, if you feel better, I said, I can't even believe that you're calling me. Given what you're going through, I mean, how are you even taking this seriously? And she would send me messages, it's going to be okay. Well, I told her I know it's going to be okay. I mean, she's an amazing woman. But so I was just grateful. I was grateful. I felt lucky. So when I came back home, and I was in pain and I struggled everywhere and I couldn't walk for a few weeks, and I had to do physio and all these things, I was okay because I felt lucky. So I was grateful, and I was happy, and I was relieved. So all the pain and uh, all the physical effort, I felt that it was fine. I felt that it was fine. I mean, if you have an accident on the motorcycle on the track and it hits your spine, and all the doctor tells you is you just need 8 weeks off your legs. I mean, that's good news. That's really good news. So I'm still so grateful. I'm still so grateful. It was difficult physically, but it was nothing at the same time. Given a wider perspective. Um, so yeah, that and it taught me a lot about the COVID. The lockdown, the borders, the boundaries. I was limited and confined uh, to my immediate world, my bedroom, my whatever it was. And I was focusing so much on the smallest things, like how to get in and out of a room that had a step in the doorway. I was figuring out how to get my legs out of bed. uh, I was figuring out how to stand up and sit down from the chair without putting weight on my legs. So I was dealing with very immediate, basic challenges. So when COVID came and they said you can't leave the city or the country or the house, I said fine. I mean, because I had known what it felt like not to be able to leave the bed. Obviously, all knowing that it's temporary. Would I have the same attitude if this was permanent? I don't know how I would face that. But because I knew my situation was temporary, I didn't struggle too much with it psychologically, just physically, and that was fine. So it's very similar to these. So even now, when the borders are closed and they told us maybe you'll travel in May, I booked my ticket. Actually, 3 times they had given a date for flights to resume, and I had always had a ticket booked. And my friends, they say, Dani, you're so optimistic. Don't you get disappointed if it's delayed? I said, no, because I'm not, I just have my ticket, so I can leave if it's open, and if it's not, I'll be fine. So you learn how to live within limits and adapt and adjust. And every generation goes through things like this, crisis, global crisis, every generation. So I think that these are human survival lessons. These are lessons. These are universal lessons, and you can, like you said, relate those times directly with my immediate experience of the accident on the track. I mean, it's just that mine is just so happens to be in my individual singular world, but in reality, everybody is going through things like this all the time. That was just my sort of version of it. But I did learn a lot.
Listen to more insights on the Mission Makers podcast through Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.